Starring Loretta Young.
Hello. This young lady's name is Nadine. She wrote a letter to me and said she'd like to be on this show and she'd like to wear a dress just like mine. So here she is, looking fresh as a daisy and pretty as a picture. And Nadine, don't go away, honey, because there's some other people I'd like you to meet in our story tonight. First, there's Harriet and Freedy. They sound like a vaudeville team, don't they? But they're not. They're a couple of school teachers who share an apartment. Now, Harriet Patton... But wait a minute. Let's let Freedy tell about it.
I'm Freedy Freedland, vice principal of one of the elementary schools in our city. And this is my roommate, Harriet Patton. Miss Harriet Patton, teacher of the 2nd grade. The reason Harriet was so miserable was because, well, perhaps it would be better to begin at the beginning. It all started one afternoon at school.
Now, time for sharing period. Now, who would like to share first this morning? Well, let me see. Tommy Seller, I think it's your turn.
Last Sunday, my daddy took me to the zoo.
Oh?
Sharing periods are now a regular part of the curriculum in most elementary school systems. The teachers have found it astonishing and enormously heartening the way even a very shy child will begin to unfold once he has undertaken to share with his classmates an exciting experience or an absorbing new interest.
Sometimes.
That's very nice, Tommy. Thank you very much. Now, I think we have time for just one more share. Johnny Diebold. Very well, Johnny. Perhaps another time. Amelia Stacy?
My mother's going on a diet again because she says she can't get into her clothes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amelia. There's the bell. All right, children, class is dismissed. Johnny Diebold, would you come up here a minute, please? Johnny, did you remember to tell your father today is parent interview day?
He's going to leave the office early to be here on time.
Oh, that's very good. That's all I wanted to know. You can go out and play with the other children now.
But I don't want to, Miss Patton.
Why not, Johnny? It'll be fun.
I don't know why not. I just don't want to.
Oh.
Charles Diebold was a widower who had tried to be both father and mother to little Johnny. And he, too, was aware that the boy wasn't as happy as a 7-year-old should be.
Well, now, I don't want to interfere in your personal
Miss
life,
Patton,
but...
it wouldn't be interfering. Johnny is the most important thing in my life.
Oh.
Now, if I'm making mistakes as a father, I want to be informed of them.
Very well, then. Perhaps you are making a mistake by allowing Johnny to be the only important thing in your life.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, he probably feels that your whole world is wrapped up in him, and that's a pretty heavy burden for a 7-year-old boy, don't you think?
Of course, I should have thought of that myself, but, well, what do you suggest I do?
Well, I believe I suggest that you go out more, that you relax. Try to have a little fun. Now, if Johnny sees you having fun, he may get the idea. Example, you know?
Well, it's going to be difficult for somebody who's been in dry dock as long as I have.
Well, not easy, perhaps, but well worth it, I assure you.
No doubt. You're probably very right, as usual, Miss Patton. Thank you very much for your advice.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Diebold.
Miss Patton?
Yes.
Would you have dinner and go dancing with me some night this week?
I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I couldn't. I couldn't possibly do that.
Oh, now, that's odd.
What's odd?
You seemed so calm and collected when we were talking as parent and teacher. Now, all of a sudden, you act almost as if you were afraid of me.
Afraid? That's absolutely absurd. Of course I'm not afraid.
As he turned to go, Harriet removed her glasses. Without them, she could distinguish only such objects as sofas and, now and then, a particularly large chair. Oddly enough, this hazy vision invariably brought about a lightheadedness which was closely akin to the recklessness of intoxication.
Yes?
Oh, Mr. Diebold, would you come back in here for a moment, please?
Certainly.
Mr. Diebold, I'd like very much to go to dinner with you.
Oh, wonderful. Shall we say Thursday night at 8 o'clock then?
Thursday night at 8 would be just fine.
See you then.
Yes. Freddie, and I...
But the moment Harriet put on her glasses again, the world came back into focus. And she immediately experienced what must have been akin to a remorseful morning after.
Oh, dear.
That night, Harriet discussed the matter with me. And here is where the busybody element in my nature began to assert itself.
Well, why did you accept the invitation in the first place? Because I'm not going to give any man the satisfaction of knowing I'm afraid of him.
So now you're going to call off your date with Mr. Diebold, and he'll know it anyway. I see.
All right. I'll admit my fear isn't logical. However, it is a holdover from adolescence that sometimes some people cannot overcome.
The only way to grow up is to grow up.
Oh, now, that's very sensible, I'm sure. Oh, look, I'm sorry, Freddie. I know you mean well, but this date is absolutely out of the question. Besides, I couldn't possibly afford to buy myself a dinner dress.
You won't have to buy one. Oh, you know I'm a pretty fair hand at dressmaking. I'll be glad to make you a dinner dress.
Oh, no, there wouldn't be time by Thursday.
Oh, I'm certain I can finish it by Thursday if I hurry.
And no, and anyway, I couldn't possibly impose upon you that way, Freddie.
Oh, nonsense. It'll be a pleasure. You may as well face it. You're trapped.
Well, very well. And you know, all this is very generous of you, Freddie. And I shall hate you for it till the day I die.
Good. The next 3 days turned out to be a prolonged squabble, during which every spare moment was devoted to fretful, frantic fittings.
Freddie, I don't feel natural with my hair all frizzed out like this.
Now stop worrying. You look just fine.
Freddie, could you please hurry? It's 8:15, and I have a feeling that Mr. Diebold is the prompt type.
You mean you're not going to keep him waiting?
Now, where would I be while he was waiting? Look, if you think I'm going to come floating out of that closet at 8:25, you have another thing coming.
I suppose you're right. Well, it's all finished. Here, get into it.
Yes.
As you'll see, I made some changes in the original design.
Oh, really?
Well, after all, what you want is a dinner dress, not a shroud.
Freddie!
You don't have to shout. I'm right here.
What happened to the top of it?
What do you mean, dear?
Why didn't you tell me you were going to cut off the top?
Because you might have tried to talk me out of it.
Oh, Freddie, I'm not a Sultan's dancing girl. I'm a school teacher.
Nevertheless, your figure is a dressmaker's dream, and I see no reason you shouldn't make the most of it.
But, Freddie, I can't. Well, every time I look in the mirror, I feel like I have a couple of fans in front of me.
Then don't look in the mirror.
Well, I can't help it. That's like telling someone with a sore throat not to swallow. I just can't help it.
You could take your glasses off.
Oh, no. No, you know how I am when I take my glasses off.
Exactly. There. Now, just sit right down over here and wait for Mr. Diebold. Oops. There. Isn't that better?
Yeah. No, it's just no use, Freddie. I can still feel. I've got a sweater. That's... There. Now, Freddie, how do I look?
Oh, it looks awful. It looks awful, and you can't do it.
But, Freddie, I just can't go out to dinner with Mr. Diebold half-dressed. I just can't do it.
All right. I'll dig the sleeves out of the wastebasket and sew them back on if it'll make you feel any better.
Yes, it will.
Okay. Take off that silly sweater.
Yeah. There.
And here are your glasses.
Oh, dear. Yeah, right there.
There.
Freddie, don't you think this whole thing is just a little too...
No, it isn't too anything. You look like an angel. Now go over here and relax. He'll be here any minute.
Yes, all right.
Now, do you feel better?
Yes. Yes.
She had once again slipped into the fog of blurred, delicious giddiness that only really nearsighted people know.
Good evening. I'm Charles Diebold.
Yes, I know. It's Mr. Diebold, Harriet.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Diebold.
Good evening. Oh.
Is there anything wrong?
I just wish you could see him.
Why, what's he doing?
Staring at you. He's stunned, absolutely stunned.
Oh.
Oh, I'm Freedy Freedland. I act as a sort of seeing eye dog for Harriet when she's not wearing her glasses.
Oh, I understand.
What's he wearing?
Black tie dinner jacket.
Oh.
He looks very handsome.
Yes, I can imagine he does.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Shall we go?
Yes, uh-huh.
Take Mr. Diebold's arm, Harriet.
Yes, all right. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Have fun, kids.
Yes, all right. Good night, Freedy.
Did you forget something?
No. It's just that perhaps you'd rather not be seen with me in this outlandish costume. And if you prefer, I could quickly change into something more sensible, and we could go to Hamburger Palace.
Oh, Miss Patton, don't worry about your appearance. You look magnificent.
I do?
Oh, yes.
Well, I do sort of feel enchanted.
As a matter of fact, I'm enjoying myself, too.
Oh, I mean really enchanted. As if I were walking on air. Oh.
This way.
Yes.
Would you like to dance?
Oh, yes, very much. Oh, I'm sorry. When I dance with my roommate, usually I do the leading.
Oh, I see.
Yes. I have some good news for you, Mr. Diebold.
Oh?
Your son was on the verge of volunteering during sharing period today.
Really?
Yes, he was. I could see him trying to steel himself to raise his hand.
That's very encouraging.
Yes, I thought it was, too. Tell me, how did Johnny react when you told him that you were going out?
Oh, he was delighted. Kept badgering me with questions.
Oh, that's good. That's very encouraging.
Cigarette?
Oh, no, thank you. I don't smoke. You know, Johnny's grades are getting better all the time, too.
Miss Patton.
Yes.
Didn't you tell me that it would be a mistake for me to look upon my son as the only important thing in the world?
Yes, indeed I did.
Well, then, let's talk about a new and exciting interest in my life.
Oh, very well. What is it?
You?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Diebold.
Does it frighten you that I admire you very much?
Oh. No, it doesn't frighten me at all. In fact, I rather like it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, look who's come out of the mothballs, Charlie Diebold.
Hello, George. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Well.
Oh, Miss Patton, may I present George Tracy?
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Tracy? What's he doing?
Staring. Miss Patton is the teacher of my youngster.
Sure.
No, George, I'm serious. She is.
Oh, nonsense. I refuse to believe you have a brain in your head.
Oh, thank you. What's he look like?
No, he's bald, a half-pint with a tobacco-stained beard.
Hey, what is all this?
Oh, I can't see one thing without my glasses. I'm absolutely helpless. I think I'll just put them on for a minute.
Yes, do that.
Oh, thank you. Oh! You were joking.
No, please leave him alone. You're even more fascinating this way. Isn't she, Charlie?
Oh, yes, she is.
An incredible, exquisite blend of intelligence, taste, and beauty.
Oh, my, you're charming. Isn't he charming?
No, he's not. He's irresponsible, untrustworthy, and a thoroughgoing bounder.
Oh,
Charles here is only one of my many admirers.
I see. Mr. Diebold, why don't we ask Mr. Tracy to join us for dinner?
Well, if you wish.
Oh, now you've hurt poor Charlie's feelings.
Why?
Well, no man likes to be told he's an inadequate escort.
Oh, but I didn't intend that at all, Mr. Diebold. Not at all. It's just that, well, you see, tonight is, it's not really happening to me. The fact is, it's like a fairy tale. And I'd like to enjoy it to its fullest. Because maybe at 12 o'clock I might turn into a pumpkin.
That I would like to see. You know, Charlie, I haven't got the vaguest notion what this young lady is talking about, but why don't we let her have her own way?
Very well. We'll do exactly as Miss Patton would like.
Oh, that's wonderful. And the first thing that I'd like is to have all of us call each other by our first name. You may call me Consuelo.
But I thought your name was Harriet.
Yes, it is, Harriet. But just for tonight, I'd like to be called Consuelo. You do understand, don't you, Charles?
But Harriet,
I understand, Consuelo.
Oh.
You and I, Consuelo, shall dance the rumba at the Mardi Gras.
Oh, you're playing a waltz.
Oh, the waltz is opposite Gringo. Gringos.
Oh.
You and I shall rumba.
Oh, yes.
You seem to be enjoying George Tracy's company.
Oh, yes, I am. He's very amusing. I like your friend.
I'm sorry. Oh, a love note from Charles.
What?
Charles left a note.
Oh,
Bill is paid. Good night, Charles.
good night. Does that mean he's gone?
Well, that he is.
Oh. Now, why do you suppose he did that?
Oh, probably the pace is too much for him.
Oh, you don't suppose he's ill or anything like that, do you?
Don't you fret your pretty little head. I'll be very happy to take you home after we have a little more dancing.
Thank you very much. But I'm afraid I've had enough dancing for one evening. Would you mind taking me home now?
Oh, whatever you say, Consuelo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Consuelo, my dear, I must tell you this has been one of the most surprising, wonderful days of my life. I found you.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, aren't you going to invite me in? I'd love to see your etchings.
I don't have any etching.
Oh, you naive little thing.
Well, good night, and thank you for a very nice time. Oh, wait a minute. Don't do that. Freedy!
Oh, who's this? The wicked little stepmother?
This is Mrs. Freedland. May I present George Tracy?
How do you do?
Pleased to meet you.
I'm glad. Now blow.
Huh?
Blow. Beat it. You're cooking with damp coal.
Good night, ladies.
Good night. Thank you.
How did you ever get mixed up with the likes of him?
Well, he's a friend of Charlie Diebold's. We were all together, and we were having such a good time, and then suddenly Mr. Diebold left without even saying goodbye.
Didn't that strike you as peculiar?
Yes. Yes, it did, Freedy. Of course, I know I don't know very much about men, but I suddenly had a feeling that he became bored with my company. And, oh, Freedy, I don't want him to become bored with my company. I don't want him to...
I smell a rat. A rat named George Tracy. I think you better call Mr. Diebold at once. D.D. Davis.
At this hour?
At this hour. Such things shouldn't be allowed time to fester.
But what will I say to him?
Well, get right to the point. Ask him why he left.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, Mr. Diebold. Did I wake you up?
Oh, it's you, Consuelo.
No, it's me. I mean Harriet.
No, you didn't wake me, Harriet. What do you want?
Well,
Go ahead. Ask him. Ask him.
I was just wondering, why did you leave so suddenly?
I left because George Tracy informed me that you wished to be alone with him, but were too polite to say so.
He said that?
He did.
But you shouldn't have believed him.
Why shouldn't I have believed him? You were throwing yourself at him all evening long.
Throwing myself at him?
Inviting him to join us, laughing at his stale jokes, cooing over his charm.
Look, I only meant to have a little fun. I thought we were all having fun.
Fun? I told you he's a bounder.
I never believed you were serious. I thought he was a friend of yours.
Did he give you any trouble?
Yes. Yes, he did.
It's your own fault for not having more sense.
He hung up. Oh, Freedy.
There, honey, don't cry. The next morning, I offered to take Harriet's class for her. After a miserable sleepless night, she was in no condition to face a room full of spirited 7-year-olds. She spent the day in the apartment, dusting and crying, crying and dusting. Probably it seemed forever before I finally returned from school.
What are you so happy about?
Great news. Little Johnny Diebold volunteered during sharing period.
He did? Was he very nervous?
Well, only at first. But his opening remark was, last night my daddy had a date with teacher. And from there on in, he had us all on the edge of our seats.
What did he say?
Well, he described exactly what Daddy wore on the date and how nervous he was before leaving the house.
Oh, I'm so glad he finally got up enough nerve.
More.
There is?
Well, you know how these shy ones are when they start to unfold.
You mean he went on unfolding?
Like a never-ending accordion.
Oh, goodness.
I'll just give you the highlights.
Yeah?
It seems that little Johnny was wakened during the night by the ringing of the phone. That was your call, of course.
Yeah.
And Johnny enthralled his audience with a word-by-word description of his father's end of the conversation.
No. No. Oh, no, Freedy.
Yes. After hanging up, Daddy left the house. When he returned an hour later, he was sporting a beautiful shiner.
A what?
A black eye. Finding that his son was still awake, Daddy proudly informed him that he had just beaten the daylights out of a certain Mr. George Tracy. Then Daddy asked his little man how he would like a new mother. Someone along the lines of, say, his teacher, Miss Patton. That's you, dear.
I know.
Johnny said he approved of the project. And then Daddy explained carefully that if teacher agreed to the plan, she would have to be watched over and protected because she didn't have very good sense.
Is that all?
Well, isn't that enough?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
One other thing.
Yes.
Johnny's father telephoned the school trying to reach you. It wouldn't surprise me if he shows up here pretty soon. And there he is.
What'll I do?
Answer the door.
I'm frightened. I don't want to have it. Oh, Freedy.
Do come in, Mr. Diebold. And now, if you will excuse me, I have some things to do in the closet.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, your poor eye. Did that George Tracy hurt you very much?
How'd you find out about that?
Well, your son shared today for the first time.
He did?
Yes, he did. And such sharing as you've never heard. You know something? When you get around to proposing to me, I accept.
You mean you know everything?
Everybody knows everything.
Well, in that case, I guess we have no choice.
No.
You won't have to bother about wedding announcements. Just mention it in passing to little Johnny, and he'll take care of the rest. Teacher affects eternity. She never knows where her influence stops. Henry Adams said it. And it seems to be true in more ways than one. Well, good night. See you next week.